It's a 1979 XS650 two-cylinder air-cooled Yamaha twin. Nice original bike. It's got some rust or patina going on. I guess you call it patina nowadays. It sounds far more sexy. Look at that. Original plates from March of 1983. Probably original helmet. So kind of a survivor. It's got 6,943 original kilometers on it. So it's mostly all original. It's had one of the signal lights bodged together off of a Honda or something or another. It's kind of interesting, these old bikes. You find them once in a while in a barn. This one was out of an estate auction, of course, and I bought it with a bunch of other equipment and whatnot and spent too much money probably, but it's all original. So a bit of a survivor, and with a little effort, maybe a lot of effort, I'm not sure, but compared to some projects, it's not too bad. It's all there. It needs to be, taken apart and brought up back to its original glory for sure, and it'll be a nice little bike for somebody. But I've never heard it run. It kicks over. I made sure it kicked over when I bought it, so that's probably a really pertinent thing to do. And fortunately, these old bikes have a kickstart, so you can do that. Whereas modern bikes, you have an electric start, and if there's no key or whatever, you don't know. But this one did have a key. It has a set of keys actually, and the tank looks very clean inside. It needs some fresh fuel. Sprayed the whole thing with oil last week and just let it sit. Bike's been sitting like this. Just buy a can of silicone spray and just douse the whole thing. Kind of an interesting story that I heard when I was over in England is that people back in the day with their motorcycles would change the oil and dump the oil into a pan, and then when they were storing it for the winter, they would pour the oil all over the bike or wipe it down with a rag or whatever they've done. And then in the spring, you'd wipe off most of the used motor oil off your motorcycle, and hence that's why the old British bikes, the chrome has a yellowish tinge to it, because when you'd heat it up, the used oil would impregnate into the chrome, and so the old British bikes always had that yellowish tinge to the chrome. Whether or not that's true or not, I don't know, but it makes for a good story. So there's that. Now, I don't know if you should try that with your newer modern motorcycles, because the oils might attack the seals in the plastic and probably wouldn't be very good for the motorcycle. So anyways, gonna get it running, and we'll go from there. Get one of these little squeezy things. These are made by, I don't know who makes these. Flow and Go, it says, patent in the USA. It's a little siphoning tool. There we go. Get the gas all out of the tank. Like that, and then you just squeeze it, and then it just pumps out just like you're at the gas pump. You get all the gas out of the tank. Make it a little easier to work with, because the petcocks have to come off. You see, the fuel valves are probably all full of rust and crap, and I mean they're flowing, but there's little traps in these old bikes. There's little dirt traps, rust traps, whatever you want to call it, and you got to take the petcocks off and clean them out, spray them out. And I noticed they're leaking a bit too, so they both need a rebuild kit for sure. Yeah, this is a nice little siphoning hose. Just pull the trigger, pump it a few times, pull the trigger. Should be trying to do it with your mouth and a hose like the old Mexican way. There we go. That's as much as I'm getting out of here. Dump some gas into this thing. Modern ethanol fuels are actually terrible for these old bikes. A little bit of additive. Got Marvel Mystery Oil, just a touch as per the directions on the bottle. That always does it some favors. Look at that, it's already full. Look at that, lights up. Here's the choke. It's actually an enrichener, we call it. Got lots of oil in her. Ah, yeah. There we go. Probably a pertinent thing to do is Let's check to see if there's any gas actually coming out of this thing. It's definitely gas in there, but it stinks. There's actually oil in there. Somebody had the foresight to put oil in the carburetor, so probably survived okay. Well, she ain't gonna start, so off with the carbs. It needs some love for sure. So we're gonna pop the carbs off and just throw them through the ultrasonic cleaner, set them up. I got some parts carbs here and see how it goes. You got the carbs off. They're kind of nasty. The whole bike's kind of nasty and crusty and needs a bit of love. I sprayed a bunch of oil down that side. The battery had been leaking acid down there for the last who knows how long. Got these crusty carburetors off. Mikuni Solex carburetors. Crusty old things. Fortunately, I have a couple parts carbs for these things, so this thing needs a full carb clean. It's those carbs are just not going to cut it. Obviously, they're all gummed up, seized up, crudded up, varnished up, and they stink to high heaven. My God, do they stink! So piercing. Absolutely rancid. You wouldn't believe it's got such little kilometers on it. Judging by all the oil leaking out, you know, residue all over the shafts. These things vibrated like crazy. I done another video where I had a few miffed viewers and they left some comments about how I was wrong about these bikes not having the longevity, but they just vibrated themselves to death. They were absolutely mimicking British bikes of the time, except with good machining in the engine. I'd never seen one with 100,000 K on it, and this is why. For example, oil everywhere on this thing. It's down the front, it's on the cylinders. Of course, fork seals are leaking, but that's normal. Self-destructed as it ran, but kind of a cool bike nonetheless. It's got a lot of character. People like them. They got a real cult following to them. So not to be so negative, but I mean really, they just I never seen one with 100,000 K on them. So 6,943. There you go. That's the nature of the XS650 vibration machine. Pretty nasty. I don't know what in there. It was like oil or something. I thought the guy had put oil in there. Maybe it's just old farm gas or something. Who knows? So there's the full nastiness of it. You can smell it from like 200 meters away. It is intense. This is going to be a good before and after video of the benefits of ultrasonic cleaning. Really good. Excellent machine. Really good invention. Just use water, a bit of pine sol, and I'll run those carbs through all together so everything kind of separates a little better when I take it apart. And then I'll take the whole thing apart and ultrasonically clean it again, and then I'll start putting new gaskets and bits as required in there. And by the time I'm done, I think I can get this thing running pretty good. So, see how it goes.